Emily from Nobel Novels and welcome to today's video. It's my May wrap-up part 1. I've already read about, I think it's 10 books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books already. That is pretty darn good. And there is another one that we finished today. So I'm not doing too badly, am I? Considering everything that's going on, I am quite happy with myself, to be honest. So I always film this sort of slightly before the half of the month, so the second half of my wrap-up will be obviously more knowing my luck, but it depends on how I cope with the rest of the month. You never know what's ahead of me, do you? Especially right now. So it's been an alright month actually. I'm pretty happy with my numbers. I've got 1 DNF. I started this at the end of April and I really wanted to like it. I got 100 pages in. But I couldn't grasp into it. I couldn't get into the world that it was in Paris. I wanted to like it. Charlie gave me this book. I so had high hopes for it, but no, it's one that didn't meet it. To get 100 pages in DNF is not something I do very often. So it really does say something that I had to DNF it because it just wasn't for me. And right now I really need to look after myself and read books that I want to read and it's going to be perfect for me. And that didn't match up. So I'll start off with my ratings and then I will show you the books that I'm currently reading. I've just decided I'm going to move them there so that I know they don't get mixed up with the ones that I've already read, because otherwise that's going to get confusing, won't it? So, obviously I have my DNF. I've got 4 stars and 5 stars, which isn't bad, is it? I'm really happy with that. Although I must admit, none of them have been explosively fantastic. None of them have jumped out as like they're going to be in my top 10 books of the year, which is a bit disappointing. But they're all really good and they've all been consistent and I've really loved them. So this first one, I rated this 4. It's The Girl With No Home. It was my TBR jar pick. And I'm now thinking, I don't think I should have rated it 4. I think it's now going to be 3.5 stars because it was good, but it wasn't 4 stars. I could almost keep this. So actually I'm going to downgrade that. So I've just said it's a 4, but actually I'm going to downgrade it to a 3. This is about Jerusha Carey, who was no stranger to being left behind. Deserted by her mother aged 7, she drifts in between houses. This is really good. It's about the life she has and how she goes in. There are triggers for child abuse. There are triggers for quite a few things that I didn't expect in this. Abuse, and there was like neglect and just really hard-hitting issues and abuse, yeah. And there's a bereavement in this, a big death in this that happened. But when there's this guy, there is a romance with this guy, this traveller guy called Joe Finch, which I love, and I love the romance of that. I love how Jerusha, she's a really strong woman who really inspires you to keep going against the odds. She battles for most of this book, but she is a really inspirational read, and it was a good historical fiction, but yeah, not one I'm going to keep, but it's definitely one I really am actually glad I did finally read. The next one was my I Want to Learn More About, the Mental Health Dawn book. And this is The Shock of the Fall. It is by Nathan Pidlett. It is one that I'm still debating whether I'm going to keep. I only recently bought it for the Mental Health-a-thon, and it is really good, but it has obviously had lots of triggers. It's triggers for suicide, it's triggers for schizophrenia, it's triggers for anxiety, depression, and quite a few really hard-hitting issues. But at the same breath, it is such a good book. It is so well written. I'll tell you what happened because it will be a good way to introduce my brother. My name's Simon. I think you're going to like him. His name's Simon. I think you're going to really like him, I do. But in a couple of pages, he'll be dead. And he was never the same after that. It tackles bereavement. It tackles so many hard-hitting issues. For me, it was hard-hitting because of the fact that it brought back memories of a family member that's been poorly with this. Not Charlie, by the way. So don't worry about her. But it was really good, really well written, very hard-hitting, but it's one I'm really glad I read because it really did help me understand schizophrenia better, and its portrayal of it was something that I think was really well done. Obviously, I don't understand it necessarily perfectly. I'm not great at describing the representation, but to me it was informative and it was good, and it was YA, but good. Definitely think it's well written. The next one was the host pick that I've already read it. It's also a reread. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I enjoyed this. Now, my mum didn't. Charlie did. It tackles quite a few it tackles things. It tackles bereavement. It tackles abuse. You find out about stuff right at the end about what Eleanor goes through. But it also, in a light-hearted way, it does tackle friendship and love about what's important. And it is really well written. It's one I'm really glad I reread. I've talked about it before. My Goodreads reviews up there. You guys know this is a great book, and I read it after Am I Normal Yet, and it actually was really good. It was a lighter one because I knew what to expect with this book. It was lighter and it was really good, and I'm really glad I reread it. So thank you, Simone. I'm going to keep this because it's one that if I've read it twice, I think I could still read it again. The next one was my buddy read with the lovely Chloe, and I really enjoyed this. It's a Rainbow Rowell's book. Yes, it only got 4 stars, but it was really, really good. It tackled, again, you're going through anxiety. It was my buddy read book, but it also tackled green on the front cover, and it also is a YA book, so also those. So it's about Kath and Ren, the identical twins, and they go off to university. It's predominantly on Kath, but you do understand about her relationship with her sister. I don't think that was explored as much as I expected it to be explored. But we also tackle, again, depression, anxiety, problems with their father and father's mental health, which has impacted the twins, and how their lives have developed because of their father's mental health problems. So that was quite interesting the way it goes into it. There's a great guy called Levi in here who I absolutely fall in love with, but I don't want to give spoilers to tell you much about him. But oh God, I loved him. Yes, I could predict who she was going to eventually end up with. That was quite predictable to me. But there were some bits in this that I couldn't predict. The fan fiction side of it, I don't know much about comics or fan fiction or graphic novels, so that part is probably why I rated it 4. It's not the writing, it was just the fact that I don't connect to that bit of it, so that's why I rated it that. The ending wasn't as good as I wanted, but then, as Chloe said, what did I expect? You know, I don't know what I expected of it. The last page pretty much summed it up perfectly, so that was good. But really good book, and I'm so glad I read this. But I think other people read this, so it's going to be in my charity box pile. The next one I literally only finished last night, and that's The Choice. This is my non-fiction book for Mental Health Was On. It's by Edgar Theda. Even in Hell, Hope Can Flower. I thought this was going to be more about the fact she's 1944 and 16-year-old ballerina Edgar Theda is sent to Auschwitz. She's separated from her parents on arrival, and she endures unimaginable experiences. Now, I thought this was going to be more about the Auschwitz side, but that isn't actually in this for very much. It's more about her life after and the battles she goes through after, and how the trauma she experienced in Auschwitz will live with her for all her life. And she's like in her 90s when this is written, and it's really, really good. I think I am going to keep this one for another reread. It tackles her. She goes into, like, in her adult life, she goes into psychology, and you start off with this, but at the start we start off with her now, or for, like in the 80s. And then we go back in time, and then we follow her life through. And she really goes through so many things, and it's how your demons that you have in your past will live with you forever until you confront them. You can't bury them down deep, you have to go confront them. And I think, to me, something with mental health is something that it has taught me that I need to tackle a lot of bad things that happened to me in my past. And one of the things that, obviously, I've recently been diagnosed with PTSD, and how I need to stop letting my past rule me, but at the same breath confront the demons. Because that's why my own PTSD's got so worse, because I've never confronted the demons that I faced in my past. So to me, this is quite a lot about lessons. It's actually really informative and really good for mental health, and I think it's one that people should read. Because yes, she went through hell in Auschwitz and she got out of there, thank God, I'm really grateful. But it's not the fact that it never really leaves you until you confront it, and I find that really interesting. So it's actually really good. I've actually rated it 4, but now I'm thinking, should I up it to 4.5? Because it is really good. So I really did enjoy that. That's actually going to be on my keep pile. I'm separating them already because I'm filming this around about lunchtime and I'm getting hungry, so I need to be able to put them away in the right places. The next one is The Kitten Cottage by Erica James. This is my chicklet one. It was an extra one that I put in because I needed a chicklet to break up all the trauma-ing mental health books that I've read. I think, again, I'm going to be having a chicklet soon because I need to break them up a little bit more. But it's lovely. It's about Mia Channing, who appears to have the enviable life, a beautiful home in the little life village of Little Pelham, happy stable marriage and a job she and grown-up children. And then there's this guy that arrives in their lives, and he sounds so gorgeous. Owen Fletcher arrives and buys the hidden cottage. Oh, that bit's so good. There is a romance that, again, you can predict, but there's some things that happen in here that you did not expect. And there was a big in the book, and I went, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And then things have changed. You don't expect, even though it's a chicklet, there is actually, it's rated one of the higher rating chicklets because it had things in it that I didn't expect, twists that I didn't expect to come, darker bits. It tackles bereavement, it tackles abuse. Again, you've got some triggers in this, but it's really well written. I think I'm going to keep this because I think there's someone I want to send this to as a gift, because I think this person's going to really enjoy it. So, you never know, so one of you is going to be getting this in the post, even though Chris will kill me because he hated going to the post office. But this is really good. It's a really good chiplet. Now I go into my 5 stars. I'm not doing badly. It's 10 minutes and I've already talked about most of them. First one is my graphic novel that was my self-care book. This is For You by Rob Bryan. This is beautiful. I can't really describe it too much because it's a letter to his grandson, I think. And look at the way the writing is. I flew through it. Another graphic novel to tick off my list. I'll tick off my challenges. It was a cosy read. It was one that was lovely to read just before, like after them, again in the middle of the mental health. It was a really good, for me, comfort read. And it also has lessons in it that I didn't expect. Charlie's lent this to me, so Charlie's going to get this back. So I've got my piles over there. I'm getting there. I'm organised. Then the book that I've been desperate to read is the one that you guys have been raving about for over a year now. Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne. It's the first in the Spinster trilogy. I now can't wait to read the second. It has a hell of a lot of triggers. For anxiety, for eating disorders, for depression. So many triggers in this, and it was hard hitting. I cried in quite a bit of it. There were certain bits that I wish now, like Nicole, like everyone has said, I wish I would have read this when I was younger, because then I would have understood that I wasn't alone. It helped me confront again a lot of my own demons about things that I do. OCD, it tackles that as well. I do that when I'm anxious, and it was something that prompted me up in here and realised that I wasn't alone. If I would have understood this when I was younger, I would have finally not realised that I was such a freak that I thought I was when I was younger, because I was doing OCD, things like that, when I was a teenager, and back then it wasn't understood. So this is really good, but it's so hard hitting. So please go into this knowing that you will probably cry, that it will tackle things, but it talks about female solidarity, and it talks about fighting for your rights. And I wish she would have stood up for herself more. Evie is such a lovely person. And is normal something that really exists? Because she wants to be normal in this whole book. But it's something that you think, are you ever going to be normal? Is there such a thing as true normality? Because there isn't. We're all different. We're all and that's what makes us who we are. So that's why I love this book, and I'm so glad I read it. So thank you all, thank you, thank you. It was my YA book, and I loved it. So thank you all, guys, for getting me to buy that book. I'm so glad I bought it from the works. The next one is The Prison Doctor by Amanda Brown. Again, one I'm definitely keeping because I loved it. It was so well written. It's non-fiction. I read it because Julie read it. Again, I think Nicole had it. I think Simone's read it. It's a brilliant book, one I definitely recommend. She treats inmates in the UK's most infamous prison. She goes through adults, works with young men, she works with women. She tackles really hard-hitting issues in this, but she makes it real, and she makes you just empathise with this lady. She's still working at the moment, I believe. It's a brilliant book. It is top there. I'm going to put it to one side and not explain that why, but one I'm so glad I read, and yes, that one will be getting kept. Then the last one is one that I was reading for the Harry Potter readathon. I don't know how Tom's doing with that, but I had to read it. It's The Order of the Phoenix. You guys know it's going to be 5 stars. You don't need it. It's actually his biggest book, and it's one of my favourites, although it's my least favourite film. I actually had a fight with Chris because at bedtime I wouldn't put it down, even though he was desperate to go to sleep. But because it was my last few pages, I would not put it down. I ended up sitting in the hallway reading this book because I had to finish it at night. I love it that much. So, I will already be honest with you, my favourite book of the month so far is The Prison Doctor, although it is torn between that and Am I Normal Yet? That's my favourite book of the month so far, but now I will show you briefly the books I'm currently reading. This one I will finish tonight, so by the time this goes up I would have finished it. Anne's House of Dreams. I'll tell you what, I'm already going to tell you, it is more than likely going to be 5 stars. Some people have rated it 4. I actually blooming love this book. It's really good. Again, this tackles hard-hitting issues. Bereavement, loss. It's just brilliant, but it's actually one of my favourite of the Anna Green Gables books so far. And now I can't wait to read the next one, which I'll be reading next month. Cannot wait. This is really good. So that one's going to one side because I'm going to be reading it tonight and finishing it tonight. The next one is my buddy read with Charlie, Gaia and Berna. And that is the Amber Spyglass. The Amber Spyglass. I think I am about 100 pages through it. It's 276 pages. Yeah, I'm just about halfway through it today and I'm loving it. It's brilliant. Again, it's probably going to be 5 stars. It is fantastic. It's gripping. I don't like putting it down every night. It's brilliant. The next one is, I am about halfway through this one. This is my one that I'm doing for the blog tour. So you guys will hear about it on the Monday the 18th. I'm not going to do a blog tour separate video. I'm going to just do my review on Instagram. So I can't really say too much about it because it is on the blog tour. It's about a criminal barrister, Sophie Angel, and she's struggling for justice in a system that's about to collapse. This is hard hitting. This is a thriller, and OMG, I love it. It's another brilliant one. And thank you so much for Red Door Press for giving me this. And the one that I'm going to be starting today, so by the time that you guys see this, I would have read this tonight. And this is Happy by Kitten Cottage. She understands how the importance of happiness is and why we need to seek it out every day. It's about mental health. It's one I probably think I need to read. It's short. It's only about 270 odd pages. But it's got bits on here. It's got some ticky bits. It's got some bits, but I don't know if I will actually write in it. Pictures. Brilliant. I can't wait to start this later today. And that's it. I'm not rambling too much because you guys know that there's so much going on in this world. I hope you're all taking care of yourself. I hope you're all doing well. Please, guys, if you need me, I'm here. I thank you, by the way, at the end of this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Charlotte from Books and Bargains. She sent me a book, which I'll show you all in my favourites at the end of the month. Thank you for being my friend, Charlotte. Thank you for our chats, for being amazing. I love you to pieces. And another big thank you to Simone, because she sent me another book. Again, you guys will see it in my favourites. And she sent me messages. She's been there on the phone to me, on the phone by messaging most days. She's a true friend. Thank you. And just thank you all for being amazing. I love you all so much, and take care. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Take care.